So I'm going to talk about stable secretaries. This is joint work with Yakov Babichenko, Yuval Emek, Boaz Patt-Shamir, Rann Peretz, and Rann Smorodinsky. Some of them are here, so look for them. Okay, so as the title suggests, this work builds upon two strands of research. One is that of stable matching, and the other is the secretary problem. So let me begin by describing to you one way to view the secretary problem, which is a scenario where multiple secretaries compete for a single position. So the setting is as follows. There are multiple secretaries that are assigned qualities or ranking by an adversary. They arrive in an online fashion in a random order, and then the decision maker or the algorithm, upon arrival, should make an irrevocable and immediate decision whether to accept the secretary or not. And the goal is to hire the best secretary. Okay, so for example, here we have 5 secretaries. You can see the qualities. You can also think about just ranking. It's easier for me to describe with numbers. And then the secretaries arrive in an online fashion. The first secretary arrives. She has quality 7. Maybe the algorithm waits a little more and doesn't accept her. And then the next one comes. She's even worse. So the algorithm waits some more. And then maybe the next one has quality 8, and the algorithm takes her. So this is the classical secretary problem. And what we would like to study is a setting where multiple secretaries should be matched in an online fashion to multiple non-identical positions. And this scenario is very common. We have many examples in the labor markets where applicants should be matched to job openings in an online fashion. Also online dating services where men should be matched to women. Of course, Uber passengers arrive online, say in an airport, and they should be matched to a line of drivers. Or just reviewing process where manuscripts arrive online and they should be matched to reviewers. Everything should be made in an online fashion via irrevocable decisions. So here is the model we use to describe such scenarios. We have a finite totally ordered set of girls, G, and we denote them G1 to Gn. G1 is the most preferred girl, and Gn is the least preferred girl. And note, throughout the whole talk, we assume that all the girls are ordered, and all boys have the same preferences over girls. And this order is known in advance. Then we also have a set of boys that are also ordered from best boy B1 to worst boy Bn. They are just the same as the boys have the same preferences over girls. The girls also have all the same preferences over boys. So you can think about it as, attractiveness of positions and talent of applicants or secretaries. But this ranking, this order of the boys is revealed in an online fashion. And then the boys arrive online according to some permutation, which is initially hidden. And upon arrival of a boy B, the B's relative rank among the boys that arrived so far is revealed to the algorithm. And the algorithm should do an irrevocable decision where a decision is, what girl do I match this boy to? Or maybe I just don't match him. So here is the scenario in a picture. So we have, to begin with, a set of girls. Most preferred girl is G1, least preferred girl is G5, and everything is known. This order is known. This is a static set of girls that is there. And then the first boy arrives. We don't know anything yet, and we just have to match him to some girl. Maybe we match him to G3. And then the next boy arrives, and his ranking is revealed. So we know, compared to the previous boy. How do I do that? It's not working. Never mind. Okay, so the red boy. No, I mean the red point. The pointer. It should be working. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So the red boy is less preferred than the first guy. So maybe we match him to G4, and then the next boy arrives. This is the green, and he's actually the best so far. So maybe we match him with G1, and so on and so forth. until in the end, the full ranking is revealed, and we have some matching. Okay, so this is an online matching situation, and the question is, okay, so this is a matching. How do we measure the quality of this matching? So before I turn to describe to you the performance measure that we use, let me show you a pictorial representation of a matching. So we have the girls ranked from best to worst on the x-axis, and then the boys are described with rectangles, and short boys are better, and high boys are worse. So the worst boy is Bn, the best boy is B1. And this is a matching. So from now on, this is the way I'm going to describe a matching. And you can remember that best is here, best girl is to the right, worst girl is to the left, and short boy is best, and high boy is worst. Okay, so I'll do the plus minus so you remember. So this is a matching. And now the question is, okay, how do we measure the quality of a matching? So we turn to the literature of stable matching and use the notion of a blocking pair to measure the quality of a matching. So what's a matching pair? So what's a blocking pair? So we say that a girl G and boy B form a blocking pair if G prefers B to her match and B prefers G to his match. For example, let's look at B1 and G1 here. B1 prefers G1 because she is to the right of G4, which he is matched to, and G1 prefers B1 over her match B7 because B1 is shorter. So G1, B1 form a blocking pair. And a stable matching, as I'm sure everybody here knows, is a matching that admits no blocking pair. So ideally, we would like to create a stable matching in an online fashion, but it's really easy to show that this is just impossible. This is too ambitious. So instead of aiming for a stable matching, we turn to a more qualitative measure that relates to the notion of a blocking pair. And let me explain to you what I mean. So we say that a girl or a boy is satisfied if he does not participate in a blocking pair. For example, we can see here that girls G3 and G2 and G1 all form a blocking pair with B1 for a similar reason to the one I showed you before. And similarly, G5 and G6 form a blocking pair with B2, so all of these girls are not satisfied. In contrast, G4 is very satisfied, of course. She's matched to the best boy, so of course she does not belong to any blocking pair. And similarly, G7 is satisfied because she prefers other boys, but no other boy prefers her. So these two girls are satisfied, and we can just follow a similar reasoning to define a satisfied boy. And also, we define what it means for a matched pair to be satisfied. And we say that a matched pair is satisfied if both ends of the pair are satisfied. Both G and B are satisfied, then we say that the pair is satisfied. And now, using the pictorial representation that I showed you before, here is a very convenient way to see who is satisfied. So now, let's use this picture to see what boys are satisfied. And I claim that a boy B is satisfied using this representation if and only if no boy blocks his view to the right. So whoever sees the pigeon is satisfied. Why? So let's say B prime blocks B's view to the right. B can see the pigeon. What does it mean? It means that B prime is currently matched to G of B prime. G can see the pigeon, so GB prime prefers B, and GB prime is to the right of GB, so she also prefers him, so they form a blocking pair. Okay, so from now on, all we need to care about if we want to satisfy many boys is that many boys will see the pigeon. Okay, in contrast, this boy, for example, is happy because no one blocks his view. So he might prefer other girls. In fact, he prefers all. None of them prefers him because he's happy. Okay, so with this, let me turn to the objective functions. So we want to maximize the following criteria: number of satisfied girls, number of satisfied boys, and number of satisfied pairs. Of course, the optimal matching is just the assortative one, which matches, for each I matches BI to GI, and we have this nice ranking, and everybody can see the pigeon, and everybody is happy. Okay, and of course the challenge is to arrive at a large number of satisfied individuals or pairs in an online fashion. Let me just say that in this talk, due to the time limit, I restrict attention to balanced instances where the number of girls and boys is the same, to unweighted agents, and to conservative matching, meaning that all the boys must be matched. In the paper, we also consider generalizations to unbalanced instances, weighted agents, and non-conservative matchings. Okay, there is a long, very long line of literature, both on online matching and on secretary problems, many variants. They're all related in some sense to this work, but let me, for the sake of time, skip this slide and go directly to our results. So this is the table that describes our results. What we have in this table, so we consider both uniform random arrival of boys and adversarial arrival of boys. And then the columns represent the different objective functions: satisfied girls, satisfied boys, and satisfied pairs. The omega results, so here's the way you should read these results. Omega results are positive results. What it means is that if the boys arrive in a random order, we have an online algorithm that satisfies a constant fraction of the boys, and the same for girls. And then all results are negative results, and the way to read this result is that there is no online algorithm that can satisfy more than fraction 1 over root n of pairs when they arrive randomly. And you can see that when the boys arrive in an adversarial order, then we have really bad results. So in fact, we can only satisfy one pair out of the n pairs, and we can satisfy more than fraction 1 over root n of satisfied boys or girls in an online adversarial order. Okay, so I think I only have time to describe one result, so let me show you a positive result. And what I'll show you is that for every epsilon, for a sufficiently large number of individuals, we have an online algorithm that satisfies at least 1/5 of the boys with high probability. So our algorithm will be split into 3 phases. The first phase is the explore phase. This will be alpha n rounds, roughly 1/4 of alpha is 1/4. Then we'll turn to the exploit phase. This will be approximately half of the rounds, gamma n, where gamma is half. And then in the end, we'll have a whole filling phase, which will just run for the remaining rounds. Let's start with the explore phase. The explore phase takes alpha n rounds. What we do in the explore phase is that the first alpha n boys that arrive, we match arbitrarily to the least preferred alpha n girls. So this we call the explore girls. These are the alpha n least preferred girls. And the first alpha n boys that arrive, we match arbitrarily to this set of girls. Then to the right, we have these beta n girls. These are the most preferred beta n girls. We call them the target girls. All the satisfied boys that will come from these girls. And in the middle, we have mediocre girls. So this is the explore phase. In the end of the explore phase, we have bins. So this matching induces some bins against which we will compare future boys that arrive. And we call the beta and weakest bins the high bins. So high boys are boys that belong to these bins from the from the exploit phase, from the next phase. And the other boys will be short boys. Okay, so these are beta and boys are high boys. Boys that will be here are short boys. And with this, we can turn to the exploit phase. So what's happening in the exploit phase? A boy arrives. He's a high boy. And the first boy in the highest bin goes to the strongest girl. So he goes to a target girl. say he is in this bin, so we send him to this girl. And we follow this process. This is the first boy in the highest bin, so we send him to the ith corresponding target girl, etc., etc. Now, when a second boy arrives to the same bin, like in this situation, we send him to an arbitrary mediocre girl. Okay, so only the first boy of each bin is matched to the corresponding target girl, and we continue this process. If a short boy arrives, we also match him to an arbitrary mediocre girl. So this will be the end of the exploit phase. We can observe that all the boys that are matched to target girls are happy by definition because of the way we ordered them. And now the challenge is we still have holes to fill, and we still have more boys that should arrive. So this is the hole filling phase, and the challenge here would be to take only short boys, 2 holes here. If all the boys that will be matched to target, all the green boys that will be matched to target girls are short, then we have no problem, and all of these boys will be satisfied. So what do we do? If a high boy arrives, we match him to an arbitrary mediocre girl. If a short boy arrives, we match him to a target girl, and we go on with this process until the end. And now the main observation that we make, that just like I told you, is that if all target girls are matched to either blue boys or a short green boy, then all the boys that are matched to target girls are happy. So it remains to show, and this is what we show in the paper through some calculations, is that the number of target girls matched to blue boys is big, and that only with very small probability, some target girl will be matched to a high green boy. Okay, so this is just a probabilistic calculation of this algorithm, and this is what we show. Okay, so this actually completes the proof. And now let me finish in the few minutes that remains with a note on conservative algorithm. So as I told you, a conservative algorithm is one that matches every boy that comes. So we can imagine an algorithm that doesn't necessarily match all the boys. So maybe some boy arrives and we leave him unmatched because we want to learn something. So the Talmud, which is the Jewish halachic book, says, Tav lemeitav kandu milemeitav armelu, which in free translation from Aramaic, it says it's always better to match. Unfortunately, due to space limit, the proof was omitted. So let me revisit this theorem, and the question that we want to raise is it really so? Is it really always better to match? What we find is that for optimizing number of happy boys, of satisfied boys, it is indeed always optimal to leave no boy unmatched. However, we conjecture that in order to satisfy number of happy girls, it's sometimes better to leave some boys unmatched. We couldn't entirely prove this theorem, but we strongly believe it is true. Okay, so in summary, we studied here a setting where multiple secretaries that are ranked by talent are matched to multiple positions that are ranked by attractiveness in an online fashion. We used the notion of a blocking pair to measure the quality of a match, where we consider 3 different criteria: number of satisfied girls, number of satisfied boy, and number of satisfied pair, and we consider both random and adversarial arrival order. Our positive results are in this regime, where we have random arrival. We can really take advantage of the random arrival with the algorithm I showed you. We can satisfy a constant fraction of boys and a constant fraction of girls. By the way, what we show is, one of the theorems that we show is that despite the inherent asymmetry between boys and girls in this setting, because the girls are static and the boys arrive in an online fashion, despite this inherent asymmetry, we have essentially equivalence between satisfying girls and boys in this scenario. In other words, we have a theorem showing that if there is an online algorithm that satisfies some fraction of boys, we have a way to transform it into an algorithm that also satisfies exactly the same number of girls. Okay? Unfortunately, we have many negative results, and in fact, all of these results are not tied. We suspect that the answer is even worse. Okay? That if the so in fact, let me tell you one more fact. With an adversarial arrival order, if the algorithm is deterministic, then we can only satisfy a single boy. We can't satisfy more than a single boy with a deterministic algorithm if the arrival order is adversarial. So, thank you.